Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. Here's what we have in the bulletin. Opposition accuses Health Ministry of not being transparent about dengue death. Ocho Rios craft vendors call for more partnership with government agencies. And later in sports, 3 changes for reggae girls ahead of Olympic qualifier. Thank you for joining us. I'm Shimela Pullen. Here are the details. News has emerged that there's been at least 1 dengue death, triggering more cause for concern now that the country has been placed on dengue alert. The revelation was made by opposition spokesman on health, Dr. Maurice Guy, in an interview on Power 106 Morning Agenda Thursday. The opposition spokesman on health, Dr. Maurice Guy, is accusing the Ministry of Health of not being fully transparent on the dengue situation facing the country. On Wednesday, the country was placed on high alert after 316 cases were reported between April and June. Their data did not point to any deaths, but it was revealed that children were especially affected. However, this revelation from Dr. Guy.
I have seen a death certificate for an 8-year-old child out of a hospital in the southern region who died on Friday, and it's a presumption of a dengue death because on the death certificate it says dengue IgM antigen positive. That is what is written there. So the doctors are presuming that among the other conditions that the child has, dengue is what is the contributing cause of death. Yes. The ministry has not reported that, probably because they don't have the confirmation from the PCR testing yet.
He's also criticizing the health minister, Dr. Christopher Tufton, of being reactive instead of proactive. According to Dr. Guy, there were clear signs dengue would be a problem. Therefore, the ministry should have acted sooner.
We know that usually between June to November, December is a dengue period when we have increased number of cases. Yes. And despite the fact that we have been having the drought, because it's almost like a paradox. You have rainy season, and that is when you have the mosquitoes breeding. We are now having a drought in this country, but the truth is that mosquitoes have become more adaptive now. And irrespective of the fact that we had the drought or having the drought, preparation should have been in place.
Dr. Guy also has questions about the National Public Health Lab being out of reagents to do antibody testing for dengue.
If we knew that, let's make preparation for it. Just like we say, hurricane season is between June and November, right? And you make certain preparations. You make preparations to have this reagent in place and not at the last make you bawling out and hollering that we can't find any. The suppliers can't give us any until January, and we have to seek in support from other partners. If you knew that from June, you could have reached out to the other partners to say, hey, we don't have the reagents to do this testing. We are approaching the season. Can you spare us some until we can get from the manufacturers?
As for what needs to be done,
what I think would be more appropriate for this type, and don't think I'm saying that drinking is important, but what is more important in attacking this particular potential rise and spread of dengue is to have more of the community health aides or the mosquito employer, a greater cadre of mosquito officers to go around in the communities, the households, to identify breeding sites of mosquito and help householders to understand what is happening.
To more health-related news. As temperatures continue to rise, the need for drinking water almost triples for the aging population, and so hydration has never been more important than for them. Dr. Kian Donaldson Davis, lecturer at the Mona Aging and Wellness Center, says senior citizens are more vulnerable at this time.
Older persons may not necessarily appreciate thirst in the same way as persons who are younger, so they may need even more regular prompting to drink and to stay hydrated.
Dr. Davis says some seniors may also be on medication, causing them to pass more urine.
Therefore, hydration is an important thing to maintain from that standpoint as well. It's hotter now as we go through the summer months, and in general, these temperatures are higher than we've ever experienced in previous years, and therefore hydration is very important.
As the scorching temperatures threaten the health of the elderly and push them indoors, Dr. Davis adds it may take a community effort to ensure that elders are safe.
Some older persons are receiving care, and we mentioned those, and some others are caregivers themselves. And so within the community setting, you want to make sure that those persons are not faced with the stresses of having to figure out where water is coming from to care for their grandchildren or other older persons within their family unit as well.
The new leg of Highway 2000 is moments away from being declared open. An official ceremony is now underway. The road links Mape and Clarendon to Williams Field in Manchester. Our reporter Dwayne Anderson is there and filed this report.
Good afternoon again to our viewers on television Jamaica. Now, as I'm sure you mentioned a short while ago, I am in Clarendon, specifically at the toll gate interchange of the Williamsfield to Mapen leg of Highway 2000. Now, today is a historic day for all involved in the completion of this project. This project, which started about 6 years ago, is finally completed. Incidentally, I was taking a walk around earlier and I noticed that there were no prices on the display boards for how much motorists will pay to use this toll road, but I'm pretty sure that will be clarified in the coming hours because this particular leg of the highway will be open to the commuting public around 4 p.m. this afternoon. Now, all the who is who in the ministries of government, state agencies and corporate Jamaica are here for this historic event. Now, this particular highway, a leg of the highway, was completed for around $200 million. A lot of money went into it, obviously. Now, if you use this particular stretch of road, if you're traveling from Mapen to Williamsfield, it will take you 15 minutes, a significant cut in your travel time. So obviously the benefits are there to see. Now, of course, this particular highway has not been without its controversies, especially as it relates to persons who live in and around the area. People have experienced flooding because of, they say, how the work was managed. Water was redirected into their communities. Roads were damaged because of the heavy equipment using the roads coming to the highway. A lot of that was addressed. A lot is still to be addressed. But it's a pretty good day overall for all involved in the construction of this project, and I'm pretty sure in the future Jamaicans will benefit. Now, I'm here, I'll be observing what is happening. The official opening ceremony is going on right now, and I'm pretty sure something will come out of it that you'll be interested in, and I'll be sure to share it with you in subsequent newscasts.
Thank you, Dwayne. Education Minister Favour Williams says her ministry has not received any reports on issues surrounding the grooming policy framework that was provided to guide school administrators. Speaking at Wednesday's post-cabinet press briefing, Mrs. Williams says the feedback has so far been positive.
Everyone in Jamaica to read the policy, for there to be discussion, if they have any input into it, to come back to us. So far, we've only been hearing discussions in the public sphere. I don't think we have any written submissions just yet. I was delighted on Monday morning when I went to the transport center at Halfway Tree and ran into the most beautiful group of young men from Jamaica College who expressed just unapologetically their full support for the dress and grooming policy.
It's time for a break. Stay with us. More stories when we return. Welcome back to the Midday News. Craft vendors in Ocho Rios are calling on the Urban Development Corporation, UDC, and other government agencies to partner with them for the success of the sector. Karen Simpson tells us more.
Mosana Martin has been re-elected president of the Ocho Rios Craft Vendors Association for the 4th consecutive time. She says she is ready to hit the ground running as there are several concerns that need immediate attention.
This is one of the biggest craft markets in Jamaica. We need UDC to come and do some upgrades. We have been in this situation with shop leaking, floor falling through, painting. It just needs a new upliftment.
Additionally, she is calling for more ties with cruise ship tours. Ms. Martin says vendors have not been getting a fair share of the pie.
What I would like to see happen is we have a tie with the tour buses. Like say for instance, we get a 30 minutes or 45 minutes from that tour, and so we can get a taste of a piece of that pie. We have 30 people going on the ship here, but when 30 people are out there, the rest of the market is in limbo. They're not getting no business.
Ms. Martin explained that the process to access the pier include getting a Jamaica Tourist Board license and a police record. However, there has been a challenge.
In the craft shop, some of the older members, they are sick at home or they died, and we want to get a transfer of names. And now UDC have changed all of that, and they call it regularize, which in if a person die, then you would have to reapply for the shop. And so we want transfer.
And Ms. Martin says the government needs to do.
I'm asking the government to pay more attention to craft. We are citizens of this country, and we'd love to see when visitors come off the cruise ship, also off the plane, they would be happy to know that they're coming in a craft market that sells authentic items.
In the meantime, she's calling for unity among other craft markets in order to have a stronger voice in the industry and to get more done. Carrie Simpson, TVJ News.
Transport Minister Darrell Vaz says he's received reports that a number of JUTC routes are not being served by the company. Mr. Vaz was speaking during a tour of the Halfway Tree Transportation Center recently. He says as a result, a gap has been left in the system.
There's going to be some discussions between the JUTC and the Transport Authority to see how and what we can come up with to make sure that we can get those particular routes, which seem to be the bigger problems in terms of service, because I can't see how it is that JUTC has these routes and no one else can utilize these routes.
Laments the situation cannot continue, adding that there must be an alternative until the problem is fixed.
So I need to get better particulars on that, but I can say to me it just doesn't make sense, and there must be a better way, even if it is that there is regulations that need to be changed in relation to allow for other transport stakeholders to be able to service those routes in the absence of JUTC until such time as JUTC is in a position to properly service those routes.
It's time for the Business Minute.
The National Commercial Bank of Jamaica has announced an increase in a number of its banking fees. Effective November 1, NCB will charge more for automated clearinghouse ACH transfers done online to other banks. That service, which now costs $12.50, will move to $23. Real-time gross settlement RTGS transactions from other banks, which are currently free, will cost $74.75 per transaction. The bank will also charge more for managers' checks purchased via an NCB account, the replacement of debit cards including a PIN change, and checks recalled at a customer's request. NCBJ says it has been absorbing a significant portion of these costs to keep fees minimal. Meanwhile, customers will see two fees being lowered by the bank. The e-commerce setup fee will move from $550 to $200. RTGS transfers to other banks, excluding commercial and corporate banking, will decline from $198.95 to $149.50. Further afield, Google is laying off hundreds of people in its recruitment division as Silicon Valley continues its cost-cutting efforts. The latest cuts come after Google parent Alphabet eliminated 12,000 jobs, or about 6% of its workforce across the company in January. Now, Google grappled with economic uncertainty that hit the company's bottom line last year, especially its core advertising business. And that's it for the Business Minute. I'm Shane Masters.
Time now for the top regional and international stories.
In the region, a 9-year-old boy has died after contracting dengue fever in the Bahamas. This is the first death recorded since a dengue outbreak began nearly a month ago. The Bahamas has recorded approximately 88 cases of dengue. On the international scene, schools and offices have been shut in some part of the southern Indian state of Kerala after 5 cases of the rare deadly Nipah virus were confirmed. 2 people died while the other 3, including a child, are being treated in hospital. Nipah is a zoonotic virus transmitted from animals to humans. Some cases can be severe and life-threatening. Authorities have been taking measures to contain an outbreak. This is the 4th Nipah outbreak in Kerala since 2018. And the United Nations World Meteorological Organization says most of the thousands of deaths in the Libya floods could have been avoided. The agency said warnings should have been issued, leading to evacuations. At least 5,300 people have died and thousands more are feared missing after a 7-meter wave hit the northern coastal city of Derna, rupturing 2 dams. And those are the top regional and international stories. I'm Carrie Simpson.
We head to a quick break. When we come back, we'll have your midday sports report with Spencer Darlington.